wanted to thank you for giving me the chance to work with you. I know we met under, unusual circumstances. You seem to be acclimating well to Constellation. Are you enjoying working with them? I think none of us were expecting what we have found. Well, perhaps Matteo. You have certainly become a vital part of the organization. That is a credit to your abilities. If I may, from what you have seen, do you think I fit in well with the rest of Constellation? I cannot tell if that is a compliment or an attempt to avoid the question. I will assume the former. I have a very different background from the rest of Constellation. I carry myself differently. I worry that some of the others are unable to see past this. I have not shared much, but everyone knows I worked with smugglers for years. I am no stranger to violence and death. I know. For those that have not lived it, it can be difficult to imagine or accept. Others here have seen conflict, but for more noble causes. Vladimir is the only one here who can begin to understand. He was the one who pressed the group to include me. I lack his charm. He puts others at ease. I fear my presence does the opposite. Of course, you have given me an opportunity the others have not. Perhaps I just need more time. I know this seems trivial, perhaps childish. I have just always relied only on myself. I have never been surrounded by people like this. By a group I wish to be a part of. Does that make sense? Thank you. That is reassuring. Discussing these things is challenging for me. I hope now you can better understand why I wanted to keep the circumstances of our meeting quiet. I wanted to thank you for not saying anything to Vladimir. I know that you said you wouldn't, but it is still a relief. I would like my contributions to Constellation to amount to more than violence. It would have been, to some. Thank you for talking this over with me. It is good to know that at least one member of Constellation understands me. I have been thinking about what we talked about before. The idea of purpose in one's life. You agreed with me that true purpose can be a driving force in life. I found that comforting, but something has been nagging at me since. I have been single-minded in my pursuits. I have always believed the decisions I made were necessary, that there was no other option. I have sacrificed much to be where I am now. And I'm starting to wonder if it has been worth it. I know. I have told you that I am not one to discuss my past. And yet, thank you. I appreciate the reassurance, but I would like to try. I promised to provide for my family. That meant working with smugglers to procure supplies we could not acquire any other way. I have spent my adult life away from my home, jumping from one planet to the next, living in dangerous conditions, often surrounded by violence. We were taught from a very young age that family always comes first, and no price is too great to pay to ensure its survival. I was convinced from the beginning that it was unwise to let anyone get too close. I had, maybe not quite friends, but people I cared about. Yet there was always a distance I could not reach across. I often find other people complicated and confusing. It seemed easier to not become attached, especially when circumstances meant I might never see them again, with no warning. And yet here we are. I find we work better together. What I am trying to say is that I now wonder whether it has been the right decision to distance myself from others. I suppose this is true. Thank you for listening to me. These are not easy conversations for me. I have something I wanted to say. But I confess I am afraid of how you will react. I am reluctant to put that to the test. But it is necessary that we are honest with each other. You told me that you believe in going it alone, as you put it. But we have traveled together for a while now. I feel I must honor that time with the truth. The little I have spoken of my history has been nothing but truth. I worked with smugglers. I have caused my share of pain and suffering. What I have left out, until now, is that all of that was done on behalf of House Va'ruun. My people. My family. They have retreated from open relations with the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective, but they still exist. I was born in the great city of Dazra, and raised with the teachings of Jinan Va'ruun. I underwent the rite of Krejar when I came of age. I am of the promised, those who know the truth of the Great Serpent and his inevitable return. Thank you. I doubt many would see it that way. There is a reason I am only just revealing this now. Several years ago, I intercepted requests from Constellation to access Va'ruun's space, speaking only of exploration. I was sent to infiltrate Constellation, posing as a former smuggler looking for a new purpose in life. I withheld certain information, but everything I told Vladimir was, and is, true. It seemed to be enough. For a short time. Several weeks after I arrived, I attempted to access secure records within Constellation's archives. Vladimir and Sarah were waiting for me. I thought the same. And yet there they were. I was horrified. My failure would be reported to the High Council, and the penalty would be severe. They do not. I have, for now, kept that information to myself. You and I have spent so much time together. It has been increasingly difficult to keep this from you. And I am sorry for that. Telling you this violates so many of the orders I was given. But it was the right thing to do. I can feel that. You have no idea what a relief that is. Thank you for trusting me. It has been a relief to be honest with you about my past. I appreciate your willingness to listen. But talking about this, remembering all those years, has brought back some unsettling memories. Thank you. That means a great deal to me. I have told you that I spent many years coordinating with smugglers along the edges of the settled systems. There were men and women I worked alongside closely. And over time, I established relationships. They were not of the promised, but I considered them friends. It describes the people of House Varun. We who have been promised to serve the Great Serpent now and forever. In exchange, he promises to care for us when he returns to his domain. Yes, I have found that to be true. It was, and is, still a surprise. You must understand. I was raised to believe that those who do not follow the Great Serpent do not matter. For they are lost, their fate is fixed and grim. And yet here were these men and women with hopes and dreams, delights and aversions. It felt like a small betrayal of my people, of House Varun, but I cared for my friends. And then I lost them. It's not something I have much experience with. It was so sudden. We had met on a remote planet to transfer cargo. And zealots appeared in force, seemingly out of nowhere. There was barely time to react. So many were cut down immediately. I believe my years of training saved me, got me moving when others faltered. I retreated to my ship immediately. But I left them all behind. Aaron Bascom and Jada Wong. They were my friends, and I abandoned them. And in the years since, I have never looked for them. 10 years. I was immediately reassigned to another role, light years away. No, maybe. I don't know. It all happened so fast, and I've had so much time since then to replay it in my head. Wonder if I should have done things differently. In my time getting to know you, I have thought more and more of all this. How little sense it all made, how I never really knew what happened or what became of my friends. My connection to you has reminded me what it means to trust someone, to be there for them. And I can no longer live with not knowing. I need to finally pursue this. I would like you with me when I do. I do not know what we will find, but I know it will be easier with you at my side. I am not sure I will find any comfort in it, but I think it is important nonetheless. I am not sure where they might be now, but I believe we should begin the search in Aquila City. That is where I last saw Aaron Bascom.
Found a tooth.
What?
Someone got stabbed last night.
Yes, Aggie. He is not here. I am disappointed, but relieved somehow?
Sure as hell ain't my tooth.
Could be an old tooth from another night.
No.
Wonder if we
This
should
is
have
the
a
only
lost
place he
in
would be.
town.
I know him well enough to know that. Someone here must know more. We should inquire about him.
I'm busy. Leave me alone. If you got credits, spend them with Ethan. Or leave. More and more as time goes on. Plenty of folks looking to get out from under the thumb of the UC, or taking their first steps to being independent. City's been slow to keep up with all the new people. Took them forever to put up the outer walls, and at this rate, they'll need to expand again soon. You surprised or disappointed? It's my name on the outside, isn't it? Been here too damn long to let someone else come in and muck it up. Hell, even finding decent help isn't worth the trouble half the time. Ethan's got half a brain in his head, seems like, so maybe he'll work out. You ain't here looking for Erin. She is.
Hello, Aggie. I was unsure whether you would remember me. It has been a long time.
I ain't likely to forget you anytime soon. I don't know. You tell me. You're the one blundering in here with her in tow, asking questions. Don't try to play tough with me. I ain't got the time or the patience for it. She didn't ruin Aaron's life enough the first time, huh? Back for more?
Ruined his life? How dare you?
Did she tell you what she did to him? How she left him bleeding on some godforsaken rock in the middle of nowhere? Now, after all this time, you could have dropped in any time in, the last 9 years or so. Maybe that wouldn't have been too convenient for you, though. Aaron sat in that corner for years, scared of his own shadow, convinced the damn zealots were coming back to finish the job. The few credits he had to rub together that didn't get spent on drink, he spent on setting himself up someplace where they couldn't find him. Wouldn't trust anyone that walked through the door. Only ever talked to me when he was drunk enough. Look, I've seen all kinds of sad sacks over the years. Most of them brought it on themselves. He was no different. Got himself in over his head, mixed up in something he shouldn't have been. Still, not pretty to watch the slide down afterwards. Aaron ain't been in here for almost a year now. Showed up one day saying he'd gone and got himself set up on Hyla too, thanking me for letting him stay here so often. It was the closest I'd seen him to happy in I don't know how long. And that was it. Never came through the door again.
Did he ever mention me?
You mean, did he blame you? That's what you want to know. I know guilt when I see it. Don't try and deny it.
Fine. Did he blame me?
No. Believed you were one of the good ones, right up until the last time I talked to him. Me? I don't think your kind has good ones.
My kind?
I know what you are. You take your holier-than-thou bullshit and your great serpent and shove 'em.
You dare insult me like this when I have come to you asking for help. I should kill you where you stand. Fine. But perhaps I will return here at some point.
Well, this has been so much fun. You see Aaron, you tell him I got a bottle of his favorite stashed away if he ever shows up again. But honestly, I'm hoping he doesn't.
How can I assist? We have something to go on, at least. I am grateful that you showed some compassion, despite that woman's attitude.
Yes, ma'am.
I do not have your patience.
That's because rumors
Yes.
if I don't stay on your
I had not considered that his absence would affect others in the same way. It is better to overlook her reaction then.
Maybe not that much.
I'm eager to reach Hyla too, and speak to Aaron.
I ain't the best at expressing
Perhaps there is something we can do to help him.
gratitude. It really means a lot.
Provide him a sense of safety.
Thank you for that.
Well, you've proved your worth, so I might even let you stick around a little.
Of course. What would you like to know?
Not a chance.
He is a quiet man, reserved. I believe he had lived through a great many hardships, though he never spoke of them. I never felt it proper to ask. He valued his personal space and quiet moments. It was one thing we always shared in common. Years ago, I had heard he was alive, but did not attempt to contact him. Did not feel it was right. I hope this is not a mistake. I do not know, not for sure. I did not see them fall that day, and I suppose I have hoped they survived. I admit I have not investigated before now, at least in part because of what I feared I might learn. House Varun is in a distant corner of space, far away from the rest of the settled systems. While this serves our interests, it can also pose challenges. Many critical resources are scarce, and diplomatic relations with the United Colonies and Freestar Collective were tense at the best of times. It was the most practical way to acquire what we need, without raising too many questions. Still is. Then we should return to our task. We should be on our guard here. If we could detect the camp from orbit, it means others could too. And I have no idea what fortifications he may have. When we arrive, would you let me speak to him first? I think that is important right now. Thank you. From what Aggie said, it sounds like he has been rather paranoid for years now. That, too, I fear, is my fault. Let us proceed slowly and carefully. I do not want to antagonize him.
Landing site is good to go.
I thought I saw something. I need to be sure. don't know what to say. I thought there would be a chance to speak to him. To make amends. Or at least to hear him curse me for leaving him. I was prepared to accept that. I did not think I would find him like this. At least these vermin didn't get him. He's been gone for... Well, clearly it's been some time. Look around. There will be correspondence from Jada Wong. I am sure of it. This cannot all be for nothing. You found something. Please, let me see it. I should have guessed. Jada was always the one to run towards trouble. Of course she would still be doing it now. In her own way. She has been for as long as I have known her. Jada was younger than some of the other smugglers we contracted. There was concern she would be unreliable. As time went on, we called on her more and more often, eventually relying on her almost exclusively. She was sharp, a skilled pilot and very, very determined. Always talking about her big plans for retirement, how she would live like a queen. I am not surprised that she would desire revenge. But to go this far, we need to find her. But before we go, I've discovered something else. And I do not know what to make of it. Aaron was composing a reply to Jada, but never sent it. It reads as if he was expecting the Zealots to find him. That they knew where to look for him. And yet, we found them here searching for him. How did they know? What bothers me, though, is that he mentions a name he should not know. Tomisar Kadik. Yes, I do. For all of my assignments in the settled systems, Tomisar has been my link to House Barun. From him, I have received my orders, and he is the person to whom I have reported my success. He does not work with anyone outside House Barun, and I am the only one who knows how and where to find him. Aaron should never have heard of him. It is hardly that simple. We must first make sure that Jada is safe, and perhaps she will be able to shed light on this. Let us head for the den.
It's a rare thing to know that right here and now might just be the best days of your life.
Ship's ready. Start. Any start. Grav jump spinning down. And just look at those stars.
This is UC Space. You are cleared to dock with the den.
Seals are locked and we are docked.
This station is but a shadow of its former purpose. I do not like it here. Either she is here, or someone will know where we can find her. She is still alive. I understand this station was once quite the luxurious place for UC military commanders. Based on what I see, I find that very hard to believe.
I know we're not a priority for the Vanguard or the UC, but it's still space worth protecting. Haven't seen you around here before. Welcome to the den. Reina Marquez. I head up the Vanguard station here. Good to see another Vanguard pilot. You assigned here, or just passing through? Right. Okay. Good. Was afraid I'd gotten another transfer without any warning. Nothing against you personally, of course. I'd just like to know who I'm responsible for before they show up on my doorstep. You need anything? Say the word. We're short on luxuries here, but for a fellow Vanguard, I'll do what I can to help. The same thing we do everywhere else. Fill in the gaps for the UC Navy. Help keep the settled systems peaceful and safe. Sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge all the way out here, but we try our best. I wouldn't mind a little more support from New Atlantis, but I know things are tough all over. Might be counterintuitive, but no, we don't. It's pretty quiet, and some of us deal with that better than others. We get the occasional distress call, sometimes Varun stirs up trouble, but there's a lot of downtime. I'm not complaining, but others, like Bastion there, it's not what he was expecting. Certainly not what he wanted. Oh gosh, no. Vanguard wasn't even a thought back when this place was first built. The den, the original den, mind you, got blown up during the Serpent's Crusade. UC Navy immediately rebuilt the station, I think largely out of spite. Sometimes I think that's why they keep it operational too. Certainly hasn't had much real purpose since the Colony War ended. I'm glad we have it as a post, and Marcel and the Trade Authority do some decent business, which I try very hard not to pay attention to. But the station has never recaptured that old glory. Don't think it ever will, really. Huang? Really? There are at least 3 other pilots based out of here I'd expect to receive complaints about first. Before we get started, I have to inform you there's a formal review process for the Vanguard, so don't expect any action for a while, okay? Now, what is the nature of your complaint? Look, this isn't Alpha Centauri or anything. We're a bit removed from the center of the United Colonies. Folks out here are a little less receptive to the Vanguard keeping an eye on things. Oh, okay. Sorry. Force of habit, I suppose. Jada isn't here. Hasn't been here in a while. In fact, she's following up on some sensitive information. I'm not sure I should disclose any more than that. Then I'd probably just be wondering how you have any information at all. And I might even be more concerned about your intentions. I don't really see how that's relevant. I'm sorry, I can't say anything more. Fly safe.
I am, hands down, the best pilot in
I'm on what you call a long-term assignment. Suits me fine.
Hey there.
So long as the
Ain't seen you before. What brings you to the den? Ah, man with a purpose. Good, I like that. Don't worry, I won't ask questions. I know well as anyone that secrets ought to stay secret. Well, you're welcome here, so long as I don't hear you disrespecting the United Colonies military. You got a problem with our history or our heroes? You can find somewhere else to get yourself a drink. Clear?
That's so. Vanguard pilot. A pretty good one from what I hear. Got a real attitude, though.
You could always ask the other Vanguard pilots, or since you're already here, I do happen to offer services in exchange for payment. One of those services can be information. You get what I'm saying here? Nah, not at all. There's gotta be coercion for it to count as extortion. This is just good old-fashioned business. Then I will tell you that I happen to overhear she's out in the Groombridge system. And from what I hear, Reyna ain't happy about it. And our little transaction here is concluded. Pleasure doing business. Tell me something I don't know. You should have seen this place 30 years ago. UC's best and brightest were in and out of here all the time. But then the Colony War and, well, most folks don't like to be honest about that. I ain't one to turn my back on those who saved us in those days. And because I won't dishonor the memory of Vae Victis, business dries up. Ain't my problem that people don't like to face the reality of what happens in wartime. Man was a hero, not a traitor. Oh, he was a brilliant man. Just brilliant. Best leader we could have asked for in a crisis. He made the tough decisions no one else could. Did what needed to be done. Saved our asses. And when it was over, they turned on him. Called him a traitor and executed him. Just shameful. Well, not all of us are just gonna go along with rewriting history. Some of us remember. We saw it happen. Vae Victis sacrificed everything to save the United Colonies. That's what a real hero does. Long live the UC!
It would seem more prudent that the UC simply shut down this entire station, rather than allow it to endure in this state.
Another day, another shift.
Wow, look at that. A whole new set of stars.
Unidentified ship. You are not authorized to be here. State your business. Who the hell are you? And what are you doing here? I was setting up an ambush, but odds are that you've blown it. And my question still stands. What the hell do you think you're doing? You're what? You've got to be kidding me. You show up here now of all times? Shit. I've got multiple ships inbound. Too late to run. Sure hope you're prepared for a fight.
Brakes, shields down. Target's draft drive is down.
Showing up here now. We're talking, which means I'm alive. Which means as far as you're concerned, I'm fine. Look, my grav drive is fried. I need time to repair, if I can even manage it. You didn't take the opportunity to blow me up. So either that's not your goal, or you're playing some long game. You wanna explain yourself? I can't stop you from coming over here. But I'm gonna be armed, and it's gonna be aimed at her head. Just so we're all clear.
Seals are tight, we're docked.
How can you possibly show your face? Difficult. Are you serious right now? You set us up, killed my friends, and then a decade later you show up like nothing happened? Have you lost your mind? Don't bullshit me. Not now. And who the hell are you? Her backup dancer? I was too a ways back. You can see how that's worked out for me. What are you doing here with her? You don't look like Varun to me. Why? So you can finish the job she started? You know, for a while I told myself it was a coincidence that you disappeared once the shooting started. That you were long gone when the dust settled. Told myself, no, it couldn't possibly be her. Not after all those years we spent working together. We're friends. So I went after the Zealots. And then I found out the truth. Your damned High Council. They knew. Told the Zealots where to find us. Oh, it is. You don't get to demand anything of me, Andreja. I know what I've seen! Because we were a loose end! We knew things. Locations, names. They never trusted us. We were just a mess that needed cleaning up. Why? Because that's what she told you? I've seen things. I've read communications. I've hunted these zealots. Tomasar Kadik. That's the bastard from the High Council who's been helping the zealots. Aaron? What? No, I haven't talked to him in a year. What do you know about it? I am not giving up on this. I tracked them this far, and I'm going to see this through. You want your proof? Well, they have it.
So, you think you've won, do you?
That's him! That's the bastard responsible for the ambush! If you're not lying to me, then you better help me take him down. Otherwise, I'll just have to destroy you both! Get back to your ship!
I smile today in the knowledge that the Great Serpent has truly blessed my ship and my crew. Why else would he have
Releasing ship
delivered
from
unto
dock.
me the dregs
Done.
of our purge
You're now
years
free to
ago?
move among the stars.
The awful that escaped our righteous justice.
Betrayed the charge laid upon them by the Great Serpent, gave you over to us to atone for their sins.
It always irks me that you escaped the fate you deserved. But now, the serpent sets my mind at ease, and in his name, I will cleanse your filth from this universe.
I do not understand. It cannot be possible that the High Council would betray us like that. He must have been lying. That is not an option. Even if we could reach them, you are a non-believer. You would be killed. Something about this does not feel right. This message. The code at the bottom. I have seen this before. I know where we need to go. I must explain. House Barun values secrecy above nearly all else. Those of us sent out into the settled systems, we cannot return. Maybe not forever, but certainly until our mission has been accomplished. When we are assigned a mission, we are taken to a point outside of House Barun's domain. We do not jump ourselves. We are never given the coordinates for Varun Kai, our homeworld. We literally cannot return. Only a select few are ever trusted with that knowledge. I can never go home. Unless I am permitted. Perhaps there is. I cannot travel to my home. but I can reach out another way. But it means putting you in danger in a way you have not been before. I cannot say for certain what will happen. Thank you. That means a great deal. There is an old derelict star station where I may get answers. I know that seems vague. It will become clear when we arrive.
Chords are right on the money. Integrity, 100%. Good to go, Cap.
Will you be taking off immediately, or are there other matters that require your attention? I will say again, there is danger for you here, likely for us both. I need you to trust me. These stations were built by the United Colonies during the Serpent's Crusade. They were abandoned when peace was brokered. They are an excellent place to hide in plain sight. Before we go any further, I cannot stress this enough. Keep your weapons at your side. Do not make any sudden moves. Do nothing to appear hostile. This is the only place I can get answers. The only connection I have to House Varun. Please give me a moment. I am not the one who needs to explain himself, Tomisar.
I am surprised by your tone. What has gotten into you? This is very unlike you. Almost insubordinate.
I know what you have done. The messages you sent.
You are not making any sense. Of course I send you messages. That is how this works. That is how it has always worked.
Not to me! To the zealots! To the fanatics who murdered my friends, who tried to murder me!
You must be mistaken, or perhaps confused. Nothing like that has ever happened.
Enough! I have the transcripts, Tomisar. You did this. You told them where to find us.
Now, let's just take a moment. No one wants to make accusations they might regret. You are from that Constellation group. I've heard all about you. You have turned her against me, filled her head with lies. This will not be allowed to stand. Insolence! You have corrupted her!
I said enough! This is between you and me.
This has gone far enough. Talk some sense into her at once. Neither of you would dare lift a finger against me. Against House Varun. But I am. If you let Andreja hurt me, I am her only link to the High Council. To House Varun. Without me, she can never return home. You must make her listen to reason.
He is responsible. He deserves to die.
Did you not hear me? You do this, you lose everything!
I heard you. I know what it costs me. But he deserves it. Does he not?
I do not know. Maybe. Maybe if the High Council sees what he has done. Fine.
Consider yourself fortunate. You get to live.
This is not over. The High Council will hear of your treason.
Perhaps they will hear of your actions as well, Tomisar. Think on that. Come. Let us leave this place. I wish to return to the lodge.
You will regret this!
Say the word, and we shall be on our way. Thank you for coming back here with me. I fear that after all that has happened, I am unsure of my place in House Varun. This room may now be the only place I have left to call home. It is reassuring to hear you say that, but still, I do not know how to live without some connection to House Varun. The Great Serpent has always been a guiding force in my life, the force that drives all that I do. What if I have lost that? I am unsure it is that simple. But you are right. I do have people here who care about me. Chief among them, it seems, is you. You have been by my side through all of this, the most turbulent time in my life. And you have supported me, faithfully. I have never been able to count on any single person the way I have with you. If I am repeating myself, you will have to forgive me. I cannot overstate what it means to me. I have never had a best friend, but I believe that sounds right. So if we are to be best friends, then I shall do everything I can to be there for you, in the way that you have for me. How can I sit here feeling sorry for myself when there is so much for us to do?